All right, so tonight's topic is the failed trade negotiations between President Trump and Canada. So, President Trump just recently canceled all negotiations with Canada, and here's why. The long and short of it is that President Trump had opposition to something called the Digital Services Tax, and the long and short of it is that the Carney government didn't actually conceive this, but as far as I understand, it was the previous Liberal government. And basically, what it is a cash grab. Like a lot of liberal taxes, it's a cash grab. So the long and short of it is that the Canadian government is basically taxing Amazon and like Google because they exist, and Canadian consumers consume American digital services. So therefore, the Canadian government want their end, right? And this was conceived of a few years ago, but it's just coming into, as far as collection on the taxes, is just due now. And it's like, don't quote me, I'm pretty sure it's in the billions of dollars, right? So a similar situation happened not too long ago. And that's the reason that in Canadian Facebook, you can't share news media articles on Facebook. And the reason is because of Canadian content laws. And the long and short of it is that basically the Canadian government went to Meta or Facebook or these social media giants and were like, well, if you're operating in Canada, then you need to pay us, pay the federal government of Canada, because your company is benefiting financially off of Canadians sharing news content, and we have a law within our country that news content needs to be X percentage Canadian content or whatever it was. It was something to that effect. So the long and short of it is that social media giants like Meta were like, no way, we're not paying the government of Canada money because people share CNN articles on Facebook. We're not doing it. So Canadians lost the because so Meta was like, oh, you want to charge us for that? Well, we'll just take away your ability for Canadian citizens to share news articles, and therefore we don't have to we don't have to we don't have to pay that tax to the Canadian government. So the long and short of it is that this is a pretty standard thing that the government of Canada does, which is basically find new ways to tax people. I'll give you another example, and this is on a smaller scale. So years ago, I live in New Brunswick. So years ago, like a 50cc gas scooter, like a little moped, like a little Honda or a Vespa or whatever, right? Those little 50cc ones, and they don't go faster than like 70 kilometers an hour, right? You can't drive them on the highway, but you can drive them around town. They used to be license free, meaning you didn't need a motorcycle license to drive them. You could just drive them, right? And they didn't require, as far as I understand, they didn't require insurance. Now, in the last couple of years, what they've done is that this would be, I think, the provincial government of New Brunswick, but it's applicable just to show you the pattern of behavior, right? Okay, so now what they've done is they've created like a mini motorcycle license. So it's not a full motorcycle license, but it's a type of graduated motorcycle license in which you have to do a written test, which costs money to do, and you have to do a road test, which costs money to do, and you have a license. And I'm sure not much different than driving licenses. They're good for about 5 years, I'm sure. I don't know that for a fact, but that's generally what licenses are good for. So then you also have to renew it every 5 years. And then on top of that, now you have to insure a 50cc scooter. And that's just a blatant cash grab. So when they need revenue streams, they find new ways to restrict things either on the public or on corporations. That's the thing. And here's the thing. I'm of the mind where I think Mark Carney's success is Canada's success. So whether you're on the right or the left, we should all want Mark Carney to be successful. And there are some good things that he's done. For instance, shortening the red tape to get mineral resource companies up and running, great. It's like, and he was talking about green lighting some and reducing also the time for approval for those things as well for pipelines, like oil pipelines. Great. So there are things that the Carney government is doing well. Now, this existed before the Carney government, right? This wasn't a result of the Carney government. However, that being said, these negotiations between the United States and Canada were ongoing, and the current government could have delayed the collection on that DST tax, but they chose not to. And in choosing not to, President Trump responded, was like, oh, I see how it is. We're in the middle of a negotiation, and you're going to try to collect billions of dollars that you're just arbitrarily taxing American businesses for because they exist and Canadians use their products online. Oh, I see how it is. And he was like, well, how about negotiations are over? How about that? And how about we're going to add some more tariffs to you? Because, and here's the thing, it's like, look, Canadians don't even understand how unreasonable Canada has been with the United States. Look, most of our economy, it's something like 20 to 30% of our economy is entirely dependent on the United States. So it's not like we can just walk away and be okay. That's the thing. And we're so used to belittling, being condescending, being manipulative towards our American neighbors as far as business dealings are concerned, and then expecting that they keep doing business with us. And this is one of the issues with Trump at this time, because he's not going to allow someone else to walk all over his boundaries and what he thinks is America's boundaries as well. And that's perfectly understandable. And here's the thing, it's like I said, Mark Carney has made some good decisions. And here's the thing, this isn't just one of them. And perhaps this is a negotiation tactic from the Carney government, perhaps. But if you really want to foster goodwill during a trade negotiation, it's probably not wise to allow a tax to start collecting on American businesses in the tune of millions or billions of dollars, which seems to be just a tax for them existing. It's probably not wise to do so, because how would you feel? How would you feel if you were working out a deal with someone and then there was a previous deal and you start collecting money when you're still in the process of negotiation? You'd probably feel undermined and disrespected. And that's what's going on. Most Canadians, they are so, all they consume is Canadian state media in like organizations such as the CBC, which is literally state-owned media, or legacy media in Canada, right? So in doing so, they have very little insight as to why Donald Trump does the things that he does, and they don't understand it. And here's the thing, and they don't inquire as to it. They don't inquire as to it. So I think that's all I have for this evening, but that's it. Peace.